There are certain sentences that seem ordinary on the surface, yet they can stir something powerful inside a woman's emotional world. She doesn't analyze them logically at first. Instead, she feels them. And once that feeling begins, it can grow quickly, often before she fully understands why. Curious attraction in women rarely follows strict logic, rules, or even moral boundaries. It rises from instinct and emotion from a place inside the body that reacts before the mind has time to judge whether something is appropriate or not. Thoughtful. The moment emotion begins to overpower rational thought is the exact point where many men misunderstand what is happening. Some men try too hard, talking endlessly about themselves or trying to prove their worth. Others fear rejection so much that they hold back completely and slowly fade from her awareness. Real attraction is not created through persuasion or pressure. It comes from understanding how a woman's emotional world responds to energy, tone, presence, and subtle signals. Desire can appear without physical touch, without chasing, and without asking for validation. It begins when a man carries himself in a way that naturally creates curiosity and tension. Because of this, a woman can have a stable life, a partner, even a family, and still feel a sudden emotional or physical pull toward another man. This reaction is not always a conscious choice. Often, it is simply a response triggered by energy, presence, or emotional stimulation. If you are hearing this perspective for the first time, it may change the way you see attraction entirely. Many people try to understand women through logic, assuming every decision is carefully calculated. But attraction rarely starts in the mind. It begins in the body in instinct, emotion, and chemistry. It is influenced by voice tone, eye contact, confidence, posture, and countless unconscious signals. That is why a woman may say she prefers calm, stable, respectful men, yet still feel drawn to someone who slightly challenges her or creates emotional excitement she cannot easily explain. Attraction grows from emotional movement and intensity. It comes from the feeling of being awake and alive, not from logical explanations. This leads to a difficult truth that many men struggle to accept. A woman can genuinely love her partner and still experience attraction towards someone else. This does not automatically mean she wants to betray anyone. Love and desire operate in different emotional spaces. Love creates security and stability, but desire thrives on contrast and emotional stimulation. When a relationship becomes routine or predictable, the emotional intensity that once fueled attraction can slowly fade. When a new person appears with a different presence, calm confidence, mystery, humor, emotional control, it can trigger curiosity. Something inside her reacts because it feels different from what she experiences every day. This reaction is not always intentional. It is often biological. The female brain closely links attraction with novelty and emotional energy. When a man appears grounded, self-controlled, and unconcerned with gaining approval, that energy feels rare. That rarity alone can make him magnetic. Attraction does not follow relationship labels or social rules. A woman may be committed, yet if she feels a strong emotional vibration from someone else, her mind may become conflicted while her body reacts immediately. Attraction is not something people simply decide. It is something that gets triggered when a certain emotional atmosphere appears. Sometimes it begins with something simple, a confident tone, a calm smile, a moment of silence, or the way a man holds himself. When his presence feels steady and controlled, it signals something uncommon. In that moment, she stops seeing him as just another person in the room and begins feeling a quiet curiosity she did not expect. Understanding this dynamic is not about interfering in someone's life or creating chaos. It is about recognizing how human attraction actually works. Feminine desire does not disappear because of rules or commitments. It shifts depending on emotional atmosphere. When a man brings quiet strength, emotional awareness, and calm confidence, it can awaken feelings that routine environments sometimes fail to stimulate. When this happens, many women feel confused. They may explain the feeling as simple admiration or friendliness, but underneath that explanation is a deeper instinct reacting to a man who does not appear needy or desperate for attention. That difference changes everything. A mature man understands the line between creating attraction and crossing boundaries. He knows how to reflect emotional depth without trying to control or possess anyone. His strength is shown in his ability to remain calm and balanced, even when emotional tension appears. This awareness brings both influence and responsibility. Awakening emotion is not the true challenge. The real challenge is maintaining discipline and integrity when that emotion appears. True confidence is not about control over others, but control over yourself. From this mindset comes a powerful shift in communication. A simple sentence can change how a woman experiences your presence. When a man calmly says, "I'm not trying to convince you of anything, I just want to understand you," the entire emotional atmosphere can soften. In that moment, her defenses often relax. She no longer feels like she is being pressured, evaluated, or pursued for a specific outcome. Instead, she feels someone who is present without needing something in return. That sense of emotional space creates comfort, and comfort builds trust. When you communicate that you are not trying to convince her, you demonstrate independence. You show that her approval does not determine your value. That kind of emotional freedom is surprisingly attractive. The phrase works because it blends curiosity with detachment. You show genuine interest, yet you remain emotionally grounded. You are engaged but not demanding. For many women, that balance feels respectful and refreshing. Imagine she shares something personal about her life. Most men would immediately interrupt with advice or try to solve her problem. Instead, you listen. You allow her words to exist without judgment. Then calmly you express that you simply want to understand her perspective. Her body relaxes. Her breathing slows. She feels heard rather than analyzed. Emotional safety appears, and emotional safety is one of the strongest foundations of attraction. But tone matters just as much as the words themselves. The sentence must come from genuine curiosity, not from a rehearsed strategy. When it is spoken calmly and sincerely, it communicates quiet strength, emotional intelligence, and confidence without pressure. And that combination naturally builds trust. When a woman begins to feel emotionally comfortable around a man, her entire energy starts to change. Her tone softens, her body relaxes, and in that relaxed space, attraction begins to grow naturally. What makes this happen is not complicated language or clever lines, it is an emotion. When she feels free to be herself without worrying about judgment, a deeper connection starts to form. That sense of freedom is powerful because it allows her guard to lower. This is why the intention behind words matters more than the words themselves. Anyone can memorize phrases, but if the presence behind them feels forced, the effect disappears. Real connection comes when your body language is calm, your posture relaxed, and your attention genuine. Invite her to share her thoughts. Let quiet moments exist without rushing to fill them. Attraction often develops in those silent spaces where someone feels truly heard. Listening with patience and curiosity creates an atmosphere that goes beyond casual conversation. It becomes an interaction that she remembers long after it ends. Before continuing, take a moment to share where you are listening from. I read every comment carefully because behind each message there is a real story, a real journey, and someone who is trying to grow. That shared growth is what gives meaning to these conversations and keeps the community alive. If you feel open to it, you can also mention a personal lesson or experience you have learned along your own path. Sometimes the insight you share can be exactly what another person needs to hear. Now, let's return to the idea of how simple words can quietly awaken emotion. Some phrases sound like casual compliments, but they carry a deeper emotional trigger. For example, saying something like, "I like the way you think, I didn't expect that," can create a strong reaction. The power of this statement is not in praise alone. It is in the element of surprise. When a man recognizes something deeper than appearance, a woman's mind responds differently. Instead of hearing another comment about how she looks, she hears that her perspective and intelligence caught someone's attention. That recognition feels rare because many conversations stay focused on surface qualities like style or beauty. When you acknowledge her way of thinking, you step into a deeper level of connection. Adding the element of surprise makes it even more intriguing. By expressing that her thoughts were unexpected, you introduce curiosity. Suddenly, she wonders what part of her perspective stood out to you. That small moment of curiosity can pull her further into the interaction. We already know that attraction grows from emotion rather than logic. This type of statement works because it touches emotion directly. It reflects her ideas back to her in a way that shows appreciation without turning the moment into evaluation or debate. She senses that her mind created a reaction inside you, and that realization can spark both confidence and interest. Imagine a simple conversation where she shares an opinion about something ordinary. Instead of challenging her or immediately disagreeing, you pause for a moment and look at her with genuine interest. Then you calmly express that you appreciate the way she thinks and that her response surprised you. That small pause and relaxed tone communicate sincerity. You acknowledge her without exaggerating and without trying to impress. When a compliment comes across as calm and natural rather than calculated, it carries real weight. She begins to wonder what exactly caught your attention. In doing so, she becomes more engaged in the interaction. The conversation slowly moves away from simple information and into emotional connection. This phrase also communicates selectiveness. It suggests that you do not give this kind of recognition to everyone. Instead, you notice it when someone genuinely stands out. In a world where many people try too hard to please, that quiet selectiveness feels refreshing. It creates a balance where you show interest without placing her on a pedestal. When used naturally, the interaction remains light and authentic. You are not performing or playing a role. You are simply expressing honest curiosity. That authenticity is what draws people in because it reflects a steady and grounded presence behind your words. In essence, saying you appreciate the way someone thinks is more than a compliment. It becomes an invitation for them to share more of who they are. As they begin to open up, the emotional space between you expands, and attraction can grow naturally within that space. Another powerful sentence shifts the dynamic even further. When a man says something like, "I'm not here to impress you, I'm here to get to know you," the entire tone of the interaction changes. Many conversations start with people trying to prove their value or stand out. This statement removes that pressure completely. Instead of competing for attention, you communicate that your goal is simply understanding. That quiet confidence reverses the usual pattern. Rather than chasing approval, you show that you are comfortable observing and deciding for yourself. This subtle shift often sparks curiosity because it is different from what she usually experiences. This sentence signals emotional stability. It shows that you are centered and confident enough not to perform for validation. A man who does not feel the need to impress naturally projects inner strength. That strength appears in his calm voice, relaxed posture, and steady eye contact. When someone senses that you are not chasing their approval, they often become more curious about you. They begin wondering what makes you different from others who are constantly trying to win their attention. When everyone else focuses on impressing and you focus on understanding, the emotional dynamic quietly flips. You can express this idea naturally if she notices your relaxed demeanor. For instance, if she comments that you seem calm or comfortable, you can simply respond that you are not trying to impress anyone. You are just interested in getting to know her perspective. In that moment, you establish a tone of mutual respect rather than evaluation. This removes pressure from the interaction. Instead of feeling like she must perform or meet expectations, she feels comfortable being herself. When comfort combines with confidence, attraction often appears naturally. Not because someone is trying to create excitement, but because they are emotionally steady regardless of the outcome. Consistency strengthens this effect. When your words match your body language, your presence becomes magnetic. Calm breathing, attentive listening, and steady eye contact communicate authenticity. She senses that you are present rather than seeking validation. The goal is never to memorize clever lines. The real goal is to embody the mindset behind them. When your words come from genuine curiosity and calm confidence, people can feel it. Authentic energy always carries more influence than rehearsed language. At the core of this philosophy is a simple shift in perspective. Instead of competing for attention, focus on connection. Instead of trying to appear perfect, focus on being present and real. And when that authenticity is felt, meaningful attraction can grow naturally.